What's up, guys? It's your boy Dan, and you're back with another episode of this Surviving Scamazon podcast. And we got one of my very good friends here, Corey. From Corey's he's a Florida guy now, but he used to work out here in Texas with me a while back. So I wanted to be sure to get his perspective, and having been an Amazon worker alongside me, how he views it and stuff. So
Yeah,
Corey, you can go ahead and tell them how long you worked at Amazon, when you started, all that stuff.
I worked for Amazon about a year and a half, I would say. I started off at a sort center, which is a smaller facility, and then I transferred into an actual warehouse full time, living the life.
Living life for sure. And I actually met Corey while he was working at this center, and at this fulfillment center that we were working at. And at first, everything was really, it was very, what would you say was the general vibe of the building when you first started working there?
When I first started working there, I had a general good idea of, or I had a very good understanding that these people, or like the managers and the higher ups, knew what they were doing, and they were on top of everything.
Yeah, for
That was
sure.
my first idea.
And then what happened?
Over time, I realized that they are they weren't the best. They didn't know everything that was going on. They weren't. I don't know how to say it, but they weren't on it. You know what I mean? Like they just. It seemed like they were learning as well, being a new facility and all.
So with that perspective, it's really just like when you notice that the person who's telling you to do a job might not quite understand the small parts of the job involved with the job. So with that being said, it's like I felt that at a lot of places that I've been to, as I'm sure I've told you my story 100 times. But I noticed like the people telling us what to do couldn't do the things they asked us to do either. So there's a person asking you to pick 30, maybe let's say 25 and upwards of items, right? And then you just can't, you can barely do it. And when you do it, the rate is a little bit staggered because of the fact that you have you have to drop off these cages, then those items have to get processed. But because of that, it just always created an issue with a lot of little, you know, um, things. Hold on, give me 1 second. I think I got somebody at my door. I'm just going to pause this right quick. My bad. We're good. So I'll just edit that out. I always do like an edit point thing, so I know when to edit. So I'll edit that out. But like I was saying, the people that were asking us to do these jobs might not have a good idea of what they're doing or any experience doing it. So that already created a very big rift in what we're expected to do there. Another thing I always want to get into is the upward mobility or the chances of moving around in the warehouse. Let's say you don't like your job, you always have the opportunity to move, like switch departments or even just switch shifts. So, what shift did you start on?
I started on what we call the donut schedule shift. That is basically where we have a day off on Wednesday, including our weekends.
Yeah,
So a work week would look like, Monday, Tuesday, off on Wednesday, then Thursday and Friday back to work.
yes, sir. I think that's a really good schedule. That was like one of the better schedules you could have there.
The schedule was the scheduling was, yeah, was very nice and everything. It's just that we happen to have different managers on the other half of the shift.
Exactly.
And as you may already know, all managers are not the same. They might follow some of the same principles, but the way they do it and the way that they enforce it were
Right.
completely different. Something I could do on Monday and Tuesday would be completely fine with all the higher ups, the PAs and AMs, OMs even, would not, some stuff that would slide with them would not slide with the people
Exactly.
on the back half on Thursday and Friday, which caused issues. But
Yeah. And then you got the favoritism.
oh, yep, don't even get me started on
It
that.
was funny because when I remember I kept trying to ask you to do this interview, which I really appreciate again, by the way, you were like, man, honestly, I have flashbacks and like PTSD of just knowing, like, I have to get up and come back here tomorrow and do the same thing with
I
these
have
people.
to.
I have
I
to.
have to speak this to
So,
get it out.
so that bridges us into a two-way street for the conversation where which one would you rather talk about? Uh,
Mm,
the fact that like your upward mobility is stopped if you get written up, or the fact that you can barely afford to eat like anything while on your 15-minute break or 20-minute break with your 5-minute walk breaks. Because, like, those are two of the very big issues as well. Like, okay, you're working here for 10 hours a day, and you really actually can't leave the parking lot because of how far the walk is in the building. But you could try and use your time, but at the end of the day, you're spending so much money to eat if you stay there that I mean you're basically burning one. You're working 9 hours. You're working 10 hours, and you're working 1 hour to eat, and that's not
yeah.
even a decent meal. So you get people like,
Um, as for the meals and everything, like yes, they did, they were always considerably stocked from my experience. They always had something that you could eat on. It's just that the vendor that they chose, I noticed, became really greedy once they realized that these people are buying it and,
no choice,
using some of our snacks.
no choice.
We have no choice. Yeah. And basically they said, oh, you know, let's increase the prices for ourselves so we make sure, they still have the same snacks, same quantity of the same food, just more money.
Yeah,
Just decided to increase
some,
it.
some of it could be from inflation, but it's
Yeah.
still like a choice. But like, and then you got people like me who's in the warehouse. Like, honestly, I think all the food here should be free because we don't have a choice to eat it. Like, they're like, oh, that guy, he's crazy. He wants free food. He wants more money. Like, yeah, everybody like, yeah, whatever. But you know how that goes, man. But at the end of the day, we're all like, a lot of people are still subject to working there, and that's the main reason I always try to like get as much perspective on working at Amazon
Yeah.
because once you get out of it, you know, like, okay, well, I found some other way around having to do this. But then you got to think there's like people who are still there at other places that are worse. And you're like, oh, that sucks. It really does suck. So here's some of
Next
the
Amazon podcast, only on YouTube.